Jake Morrison stepped off the transport shuttle and stared at the massive structure floating in space. The Galactic Academy stretched across 3 connected stations, each one larger than any city he had ever seen back on Earth. Glass corridors connected spiraling towers, and ships from 100 different worlds docked at various ports. He had dreamed of this moment since he was a kid watching the stars from his backyard in Colorado. Pretty amazing, right? Lisa Grant appeared beside him, her eyes wide with excitement. The young woman from New York had been Jake's friend since their training days on Earth. She carried a data pad filled with notes about alien biology, her specialty. "I still can't believe we made it," Jake said, adjusting the strap of his bag. Around them, other cadets from Earth gathered in small groups, all wearing the same nervous expressions. Commander Troy Barnes, a veteran officer who had been stationed at the Academy for 5 years, addressed the group. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. You're about to join students from 200 species across 50 star systems. First order of business is medical processing. Every cadet needs a complete DNA scan for our records." The humans followed Barnes through the pristine white corridors. Alien students passed by in every direction. Some walked on 2 legs like humans, others floated or crawled. Jake tried not to stare at a creature that looked like a walking crystal formation. The medical bay was unlike anything Jake had seen. Machines hummed with soft blue light, and holographic displays floated in the air. A tall, slender alien with silver skin and forearms greeted them. Her name was Dr. Vera Knight, the head geneticist. "Please step into the scanning pods one at a time," Dr. Knight said, her voice musical and strange. "The process is completely safe. We simply need to catalog your genetic information for medical purposes." Jake went first. The pod closed around him with a soft hiss. Blue light washed over his body from head to toe. It tickled slightly like static electricity. The whole thing took maybe 30 seconds. When he stepped out, Dr. Knight was already calling for the next person. "That was easy," Jake said to Lisa as she waited her turn. By the time all 40 human cadets had been scanned, Dr. Knight seemed pleased. "You may proceed to your assigned quarters. Welcome to the Academy." The humans left, chatting excitedly about their new rooms and class schedules. Jake and Lisa shared a quarters pod with 2 other cadets. They spent the next hour unpacking and discussing which courses they wanted to take. Everything seemed perfect until the alarm started. A piercing wail echoed through the entire station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Jake rushed to his door and found other students doing the same, confusion and fear on their faces. Commander Barnes appeared, running down the hallway. "Everyone stay in your quarters." "This is not a drill." "What's happening?" Jake shouted over the noise. Barnes stopped, his face pale. "I don't know." The alert came from the genetics lab. Jake and Lisa exchanged glances. The DNA scanning lab. Something had gone wrong with the scans. Hours passed before the alarms finally stopped. An announcement ordered all human cadets to report to the main conference hall immediately. When they arrived, they found the entire senior staff of the academy waiting for them. Dr. Knight stood at the center, her forearms moving in agitated gestures as she spoke with other officials. High Chancellor Vex, the leader of the Galactic Council, stood at a podium. He was an insectoid creature, tall and imposing with a shimmering carapace. His compound eyes swept over the gathered humans. "We have a situation," Vex said, his voice carrying through translators. "The DNA scans of your species have revealed something unprecedented. Dr. Knight, please explain." The geneticist stepped forward, activating a massive holographic display. It showed a complex web of genetic code, branches connecting to hundreds of different points. "When we scanned the human genetic code, our quantum database automatically cross-referenced it with every known species in galactic history," Dr. Knight began. "What we found is impossible yet undeniable. Human DNA contains genetic markers that match dozens of extinct species, not just any species, the old ones." A murmur ran through the alien staff members. Some looked frightened. "What are the old ones?" Lisa asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her nervousness. Dr. Knight's expression was grave. "Millions of years ago, before most current species evolved, the galaxy was ruled by apex predators of unimaginable ferocity. We call them the Old Ones. They were the most efficient killers the universe has ever known. Every world they touched became a hunting ground. My own species nearly went extinct because of them." The hologram changed, showing ancient cave paintings and stone carvings from various worlds. Each depicted massive beast-like creatures with terrible claws and teeth. These species supposedly went extinct 4 million years ago, Dr. Knight continued. Their disappearance is one of the galaxy's greatest mysteries. Yet now we find their genetic code inside humans, not just traces. Significant portions of your DNA are identical to theirs. Jake felt his stomach turn cold. Are you saying humans are related to these monsters? We don't know what we're saying yet, Commander Barnes interjected. But the computer identified 73 separate species, of old ones whose genetic material appears in human DNA. Every single apex predator in galactic history traces back to you. High Chancellor Vex leaned forward. The question we must answer is this. Are humans the descendants of the old ones? Are you the same species that terrorized the galaxy? Or is there another explanation? There has to be another explanation, Lisa said firmly. Humans evolved on Earth. We have fossil records going back millions of years. We're not aliens. We're from Earth. Then perhaps Earth is where they came from. Another alien official suggested. Perhaps Earth is the origin world of the old ones. The room erupted in argument. Some aliens demanded the humans be quarantined immediately. Others called for more research. Jake felt dozens of eyes on him, some curious, many fearful. Dr. Knight raised her arms for silence. There's more. When we completed the scan, we noticed something strange. Human DNA contains locked sections, genetic code that's dormant, wrapped in protective sequences. We've never seen anything like it in any other species. What does that mean? Jake asked. It means parts of your genetic code are sealed away, possibly deliberately, as if someone designed your species to keep certain traits hidden. Dr. Knight's silver skin seemed to pale. We don't know what will happen if those locks ever open. High Chancellor Vex stood. Until we understand what humans truly are, I'm calling an emergency session of the full Galactic Council. The fate of your species will be decided there. In the meantime, all human cadets are confined to quarters. As guards escorted the confused and frightened humans away, Jake caught a glimpse of the holographic display one more time. The genetic web connecting humanity to the old ones glowed like a warning. Branches reaching back through millions of years to some ancient, terrifying origin. Whatever humanity really was, the truth had just begun to surface, and the galaxy was afraid of what they might become. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Within days, every civilized world knew about the human DNA discovery. Some called it the most important scientific finding in history. Others called it a nightmare come true. Jake sat in his quarters watching the news feeds on his datapad. A reptilian ambassador demanded humans be sent back to Earth immediately. A council of historians argued that humanity should be studied carefully. A few brave voices suggested waiting for more evidence before making decisions based on fear. This is insane, Lisa said, pacing the small room. She hadn't slept well in 3 days. We're just people. We didn't ask to be related to some ancient monsters. Maybe we're not related to them, Jake offered, though he didn't sound convinced. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the DNA similarities don't mean what they think. Before Lisa could respond, alarms blared again. This time it wasn't the station alarm. It was coming from Jake's own body. He gasped and doubled over, clutching his chest. Pain shot through every nerve. His vision blurred, then suddenly sharpened to an impossible degree. He could see individual dust particles floating in the air. He could hear Lisa's heartbeat, rapid and frightened. He could smell the recycled air in the ventilation system 3 rooms away. Jake! Lisa grabbed his shoulders. What's wrong? The pain faded as quickly as it came. Jake straightened, breathing hard. He felt different. Stronger. His muscles hummed with energy he'd never experienced before. When he looked at his hands, they seemed steadier, more capable. I don't know, he said. I feel strange. Good strange, but wrong at the same time. Commander Barnes burst through the door without knocking. His face was tight with concern. Are you all right? Your biometric monitor sent an alert to medical. I'm fine, Jake said. I think. What's happening? You're the 5th human to report similar symptoms in the last hour, Barnes said. Dr. Knight wants to see everyone immediately. The medical bay had been transformed into a research center. Humans lay on examination tables while alien doctors scanned them with various instruments. Jake recognized several cadets from Earth. They all had the same look in their eyes, alert, predatory, aware. Dr. Knight approached Jake with her scanner. Tell me exactly what you felt. Jake described the pain, then the surge of heightened senses. As he spoke, he realized he could still hear things he shouldn't be able to hear. Conversations 3 rooms away. The hum of the station's power cord deep below. The breathing of every person in the medical bay. Just as I feared, Dr. Knight said softly. The scanning process has triggered something. Those locked sections of your DNA are opening. How is that possible? Lisa asked. She had accompanied Jake to medical. A simple scan shouldn't change someone's genetics. The quantum scanner doesn't just read DNA, it interacts with it at a subatomic level, Dr. Knight explained. We've used it on thousands of species without incident, but human DNA responded to the scan like it was waiting for it, like it recognized the technology. Another human cadet, a young woman named Mara Collins, sat up on her examination table. Her eyes had changed color slightly, becoming more golden than brown. I can hear my own heartbeat. I can control it. Slow it down or speed it up just by thinking about it. A male cadet named Ben Walker flexed his hand and watched his fingers with fascination. My reflexes are faster. I caught a falling cup earlier without even thinking. My hand just moved on its own like instinct. Dr. Knight's forearms moved frantically across her control panel. The changes are accelerating. More genetic locks are opening every hour. At this rate, within a week, every human at this station will be experiencing enhancement. Enhancement? Jake said. Is that what we're calling it? I don't know what else to call it, Dr. Knight admitted. Your species is evolving in real time. Or perhaps devolving, returning to something you used to be. Captain Ryan Cross arrived at the medical bay with a security team. He was a military officer from Earth, sent to the academy to oversee human interests. Tall and broad-shouldered, he moved with the confidence of a career soldier. I need a full report, Cross demanded. Earth wants to know what's happening to our people. Before Dr. Knight could respond, new alarms sounded. These came from the Academy's deep space monitoring systems. Every screen in the medical bay switched to show the same data feed. What is that? Lisa asked, staring at the display. Energy readings, Dr. Knight said, her voice filled with shock. Coming from Earth itself. The entire planet is emitting a quantum signal we've never detected before. The image on the screen showed Earth from space, but overlaid with sensor data. Waves of energy pulsed from the planet's surface, spreading outward into space like ripples in a pond. Earth is responding to what's happening here, Commander Barnes said. But how? How does a planet know what's happening light years away? Unless it's not the planet responding, Jake said slowly. A strange certainty filled him, knowledge he didn't know he possessed. Unless it's something on the planet, or in it. Dr. Knight turned to face him. What do you mean? I don't know how I know this, Jake said, but I can feel it. There's something on Earth, something old, and it knows we're here. It knows we've been activated. Over the next days, more changes occurred. The enhanced humans found they could communicate without words, sharing feelings and basic thoughts through some kind of mental connection. Their physical abilities continued to improve. Jake could run faster than any human should be able to run. His bones became denser, harder to break. Small injuries healed in hours instead of days. Ambassador Kira Stone arrived from Earth to handle the political crisis. She was a calm, professional woman who had spent years negotiating with alien governments, but even she looked worried when she saw what was happening to the cadets. Earth is in an uproar, she told Commander Barnes and Captain Cross in a private meeting. Jake listened from outside the room, his enhanced hearing picking up every word. Half the planet thinks we're evolving into superhumans. The other half thinks we're turning into monsters, and the galactic community is terrified. Can you blame them? Cross asked. If I were an alien species and I found out humans were related to the old ones, I'd be scared too. Especially if those humans started developing superhuman abilities. The Council is going to vote soon, Stone said. Whether to allow humans to remain in galactic society or force us back to Earth and restrict us to our home system. That's not fair, Barnes protested. We haven't done anything wrong. Fear doesn't care about fairness, Stone replied. The situation came to a head when an accident occurred in the station's engineering section. A coolant line ruptured, flooding a corridor with toxic gas. 5 alien students were trapped inside, unconscious from the fumes. Jake heard the emergency broadcast and ran toward the danger without thinking. His enhanced body moved faster than his mind could process. He reached the sealed door before the emergency crews arrived. "Don't open that," a security guard shouted. "The gas will kill you." But Jake's instincts told him otherwise. He held his breath and opened the door manually, overriding the safety locks with strength that shouldn't have been possible. He ran into the toxic cloud and found the alien students collapsed on the floor. One by one, he carried them out. His lungs burned, but his body adapted, processing the toxins faster than they could kill him. By the time he pulled the last student to safety, his skin had turned slightly gray, a protective response to the poison. The medical teams arrived and treated the rescued students. They would all survive. Jake collapsed against the wall, exhausted but alive. His skin gradually returned to its normal color as his body purged the toxins. Dr. Knight examined him afterward, amazement in her eyes. "You should be dead. That gas is lethal to most species within seconds, but your body adapted to it, just like the old ones used to do." News of Jake's rescue spread quickly. Public opinion began to shift slightly. Yes, humans were changing. Yes, they were becoming something powerful and strange. But they were using that power to save lives, not take them. Still, fear remained strong. High Chancellor Vex called an emergency assembly. The Galactic Council would meet in 1 week to decide humanity's fate. That night, as Jake tried to sleep, he felt something else awakening inside him, a pressure building in his mind. When he finally drifted off, he dreamed of stars and distant worlds. He dreamed of massive creatures moving through space itself, and somewhere, far away at the edge of the galaxy, something ancient heard humanity's awakening and began to move. The Academy's long-range sensors detected it 3 days later, a signal from the Forbidden Zone, a region of space marked as dangerous by every civilization. The Old One's territory, where no ship had traveled in millions of years. Something was coming, and it was coming because humanity had finally awakened. The first colony to fall was a mining outpost on the edge of the galaxy. 3,000 beings from various species lived and worked there. When the harvester ship arrived, it took less than an hour to consume everything. The structures remained, but every living thing was gone. Absorbed, converted into energy for the harvester's continued advance. Jake watched the recordings from his station on the newly formed Defense Command ship. The images were horrific. The harvester vessel was organic and mechanical at the same time, a mass of twisted metal and pulsing tissue that defied natural laws. It moved through space like a living thing, reaching out with tendrils to grab and consume. 12 more colonies have been attacked in the past week, Captain Cross reported. He had been given command of the human forces, which now numbered over 5,000 enhanced volunteers from Earth. The harvesters are moving faster than our projections estimated. Lisa worked at a science station, analyzing the data they had on harvester biology. They're not random in their attacks. They're targeting colonies with the highest biological diversity. They're feeding on variety, getting stronger with each world they consume. Ambassador Stone stood with Commander Barnes, coordinating between human forces and the wider galactic military. The various species had put aside their differences to face the common threat, but cooperation was still difficult. Centuries of separate development meant their technologies and tactics didn't always work well together. "We need to hit them hard and fast," Jake said. The genetic memories flowing through him provided strategic insights the galaxy had never seen. The Old Ones fought the harvesters before. They learned the enemy's weakness. The harvesters are a hive mind, distributed consciousness across their entire fleet. But there's a command ship, a central processing unit that coordinates everything. If we can destroy it, the rest will fall into chaos. "How do we identify the command ship?" Cross asked. "We don't identify it," Jake replied. "We follow the energy flows. The harvesters consume biological matter and convert it to energy. That energy gets distributed through the fleet, but the largest concentration will always be at the command ship. It needs the most power to maintain the hive consciousness." Dr. Knight studied Jake's proposed battle plan. Her 4 arms moved across holographic displays running simulations. It could work. But getting to the command ship means fighting through the entire fleet. Thousands of vessels all trying to consume our forces. "That's where we come in," Jake said, gesturing to the other enhanced humans in the room. Ben Walker, Mara Collins, and dozens of others who had fully awakened their genetic heritage. The Old Ones designed weapons specifically for this fight. Weapons that are biological, not mechanical. Weapons that the harvesters can't easily consume or adapt to. Lisa's eyes widened as she understood. You're talking about using yourselves as weapons, going aboard the harvester ships directly. The genetic memories show it's the only way, Jake said. The old ones could board harvester vessels and survive in their toxic environments. We can do the same. We can carry a genetic virus that will corrupt the harvester's biological components. We become the weapon. The plan was approved by the Galactic Defense Council, though many members were uncomfortable with it. Sending humans into the heart of enemy ships felt like releasing predators to hunt. But options were limited and the harvester advance continued. Training began immediately. Enhanced humans learned to push their abilities to the limit. Jake discovered he could adapt his biology to survive in vacuum for short periods. His body would shut down non-essential systems and create a protective membrane over his skin. Others learned similar tricks. Mara could increase her bone density to the point where she could smash through steel. Ben could alter his body chemistry to produce acids or toxins. Lisa worked with Dr. Knight to develop the genetic virus. It was based on Old One technology, a self-replicating code that would attack the harvester's biomechanical systems, but it needed to be delivered directly into the command ship's core. That meant someone had to carry it there and inject it manually. I'll do it, Jake volunteered immediately. We'll all do it, Mara said. Around her, 50 other enhanced humans nodded in agreement. They had all volunteered for the strike team. Captain Cross looked at his people with pride and concern. You understand this is likely a one-way trip. Even if the virus works, you'll be inside a dying ship in the middle of enemy territory. We understand, Jake replied, but this is what we were made for. The old ones saw this moment coming millions of years ago. They prepared us for it. We can't let them down. We can't let the galaxy down. The assault force assembled a week later. Every available ship from every member species, hundreds of vessels representing the galaxy's combined military might. The humans had their own fleet as well, ships from Earth, hastily equipped with the best weapons the galaxy could provide. The target was a harvester cluster in the Beta sector. Sensor readings showed the command ship at the center, surrounded by its fleet. The human strike team would use small, fast ships to penetrate the enemy formation, while the main fleet kept the harvesters busy. Jake sat in his assault shuttle with 9 other enhanced humans. Lisa was there, having insisted on coming despite not being part of the combat team. Someone needs to monitor the virus deployment, she had argued. I'm the one who helped create it. As the fleet jumped into the Beta sector, Jake felt something he hadn't expected. Peace. His entire life had been building to this moment. Every challenge, every choice, every step had led him here. The genetic memories of the old ones flowed through him, not as a foreign presence, but as part of who he was. All ships engage. Cross's voice boomed across all frequencies. The battle was chaos. Harvester vessels swarmed the galactic fleet like insects. Their tendrils reached out, trying to grab and consume. But the Allied forces had learned from previous encounters. They kept moving, kept firing, never staying in one place long enough to be caught. The human assault shuttles shot forward. Mara piloted Jake's ship with enhanced reflexes that let her dodge attacks at impossible angles. They weaved through the battle, heading straight for the command ship. It was massive, easily the size of a small moon, covered in pulsing organic tissue and jutting mechanical spikes. Energy crackled across its surface. As they approached, smaller harvester vessels moved to intercept. We've got company, Mara shouted. The other strike team shuttles moved to engage the interceptors, creating a path for Jake's ship. One by one, the assault shuttles sacrificed themselves, crashing into enemy vessels or drawing them away. Soon only 3 shuttles remained. There's an opening in the command ship's hull, Ben called out from the sensor station. Looks like a feeding port. We can get in there. Mara pushed the shuttle to maximum speed. They shot through the opening into the nightmare interior of the command ship. The walls were alive, pulsing with corrupted biological matter. The atmosphere was toxic, a mix of chemicals that would kill most species instantly. Jake and his team opened the shuttle doors. The toxic air hit them, but their bodies adapted immediately. Skin became tougher. Lungs filtered out the poison. Eyes adjusted to the dim, pulsing light. Let's move, Jake said, his voice steady despite the horror around them. They fought through the ship's interior. Harvester drones emerged from the walls. Biomechanical horrors that attacked with bladed limbs and acid sprays. But the enhanced humans were faster, stronger, deadlier. Jake's team moved like a pack, coordinating without words through their shared mental link. Ben carried the virus container. a small device that held humanity's best hope. They pushed deeper into the command ship, following the energy flows Jake could sense through his genetic memories. The ship's defenses grew stronger. More drones, automated weapons. The walls themselves tried to close in and consume them. 2 team members fell, overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. But the rest pressed on. Finally, they reached the core chamber. It was a vast space filled with pulsing organic machinery. At the center was something that might have been a brain or a computer or both. The command intelligence that coordinated the entire Harvester fleet. There, Lisa said, pointing to a junction point where multiple energy flows converged. That's where we need to inject the virus. But between them and the target were hundreds of Harvester drones. An impossible number to fight through. Jake looked at his remaining team. 8 humans, exhausted and wounded, but still standing. Keep them busy. I'll get the virus to the target. Before anyone could argue, Jake ran. His body changed as he moved, adapting to become faster, harder, more predatory. He became what the old ones had been at their peak. An apex predator with a purpose. The drones swarmed him. He fought through them with savage efficiency. Claws and teeth that weren't entirely human anymore tore through mechanical flesh. He took damage, wounds that would have killed a normal person, but his body healed almost as fast as it was hurt. Behind him, his team fought to cover his advance. Lisa used a weapon she barely knew how to fire. Ben swung a piece of broken machinery like a club. Mara moved like a dancer of death, her enhanced speed letting her dodge most attacks. Jake reached the target junction. He slammed the virus container into the organic port and activated it. For a moment, nothing happened. Dr. Marcus Webb had been working at the medical station for 15 years. He had seen thousands of aliens from different planets. He had tested their blood, scanned their bodies, and given them health certificates. It was a normal job. Nothing exciting ever happened. Today was supposed to be another normal day. A human woman walked into his clinic. Her name was Kelly Morrison. She needed a health certificate to keep working on cargo ships. She looked tired but friendly. She smiled at Marcus and sat down on the examination table. Marcus took out his medical scanner. It was a simple device that could analyze any living creature in the galaxy. The scanner had information about 40,000 different species. It never failed. Marcus pressed the scanner against Kelly's arm and waited for the results. The machine made a strange noise. Marcus frowned. He looked at the screen. Instead of showing normal results, the screen displayed an error message. The words blinked red. Cannot process sample. Marcus tried again. He took another sample from Kelly's finger. The machine started working, but then it stopped. The screen went completely black. After a few seconds, new words appeared. Critical error. Sample exceeds database parameters. Kelly noticed his confused expression. Is everything okay, doctor? Marcus forced himself to smile. Just a small technical problem. Let me try a different machine. But Marcus felt worried. In 15 years, he had never seen this error before. He walked to the other side of the room where an older, more powerful scanner sat. This machine was used only for completely unknown species that had never been tested before. Marcus initialized the deep scan. The machine hummed loudly. Kelly watched with growing concern. The scanner began displaying numbers on the screen. Marcus read them carefully. His eyes grew wider with each line. Bone density far above normal. Cellular regeneration extremely high. Immune system incredibly complex. Neural processing beyond standard ranges. Every single measurement was higher than it should be. Higher than any species Marcus had ever seen. Then the machine stopped. The screen flickered. A new window appeared. Marcus had never seen this window before. It was a direct message from the Galactic Medical Council's main computer. The message contained only one word, written 3 times, Earth, Earth, Earth. Below that word, another line appeared. Quarantine protocol initiated. Do not allow subject to leave facility. Marcus felt his heart beat faster. His hand started shaking. Kelly Morrison had just triggered an alarm that hadn't been used in 2,000 years. The clinic doors suddenly locked. Heavy metal barriers slid down over the windows. Kelly jumped off the table. What's happening? Why are the doors closing? Marcus held up his hands. Please, Ms. Morrison, stay calm. There's a problem with your test results. A problem? Kelly's voice rose. I've taken this test before. Many times. On different stations. Nobody ever said there was a problem. Marcus pulled up her records on his computer. She was right. Kelly had been tested at 5 different medical stations. All her previous tests showed normal results. But Marcus noticed something strange. All those tests were done on old machines that didn't have access to the full medical database. Before Marcus could explain, a voice came through the speakers. "Dr. Webb, this is Station Commander Erix. We received an emergency alert from your clinic. Galactic security forces are coming. They will arrive in 14 minutes. Kelly's face turned pale. Security forces? For a medical test? She backed away toward the wall. Her whole body tensed. I didn't do anything wrong. I know you didn't, Marcus said quickly. But the system says you shouldn't exist. It flagged you as something called Earth origin. That designation seems to be very important. Earth? Kelly looked confused. That's just where humans come from. We've been part of the galaxy for years now. There are humans everywhere. Why would that cause an alarm? Marcus looked at the alert message again. He opened the detailed files. What he read made his stomach twist with fear. Because according to this archive, humans were never supposed to leave Earth. Your entire species is classified as a Class 7 developmental observation zone. That's crazy, Kelly said. There are humans on every major trading station. We work, we trade, we live normal lives. We're not some primitive species locked on one planet. No, Marcus agreed. His voice became very quiet. You're something much more dangerous. According to these measurements, humans shouldn't exist. Your biology doesn't make sense. Your cells regenerate too fast. Your immune system adapts too quickly. Your brains process information more efficiently than they should. Evolution doesn't work this fast. Through the reinforced glass door, Marcus saw soldiers arriving. But these weren't normal station security guards. These were galactic enforcers. They wore black armor and carried weapons that could stop almost any threat. There were 6 of them, all moving with military precision. Kelly saw them too. She looked at Marcus with fear in her eyes. Dr. Webb, I need the truth. Am I in danger? Marcus looked at the impossible numbers on his screen one more time. Then he looked at Kelly Morrison. She was scared and confused, but she was also just a normal person trying to make a living. She didn't look like a threat to anyone. Yes, Marcus said softly. I think we all are. The lead enforcer stepped forward. Through the glass, Marcus could see his face. It was Commander Talth, a Vrexian warrior. His scales were black like polished stone. He was almost 7 feet tall. 6 more enforcers stood behind him, their weapons ready. Talth's voice came through the speaker system. Dr. Webb, step away from the human immediately. Marcus didn't move. He stood between Kelly and the door. She hasn't done anything wrong. She has proper documentation. She's a legal traitor. Her documentation is based on incomplete testing, Talth responded. We've been tracking an anomaly across the sector. Humans appearing in places they shouldn't be. Humans surviving conditions that would kill other species. Humans adapting to situations that should be impossible. That doesn't make them criminals, Marcus argued. It makes them an unknown variable, Talth said. His voice was hard and cold. A potentially dangerous one. The enforcer commander entered an access code. The clinic door unlocked. Talth and his team entered the room, their weapons raised and ready. Kelly stood very still, her hands visible, trying not to appear threatening. Marcus knew that everything had just changed. A simple medical test had revealed something that the galaxy wanted to keep hidden, and now Kelly Morrison was at the center of a crisis that nobody understood yet. Commander Talth entered the medical clinic with heavy steps. His armor made soft clicking sounds as he moved. Behind him, 6 enforcers spread out across the room. Each one carried a weapon designed to stop threats that normal soldiers couldn't handle. Their helmets hid their faces, making them look like machines instead of living beings. Kelly stood near the examination table. She tried to stay calm, but Marcus could see her hands shaking. She kept her arms at her sides, making sure the enforcers knew she wasn't reaching for anything dangerous. Dr. Webb, move away from the human, Talth ordered. His voice was deep and commanding. This is not a request. Marcus took one step to the side, but he didn't leave Kelly completely alone. Commander, I need to understand what's happening. This woman came here for a routine health check. Nothing more. Talth gestured to one of his soldiers. The enforcer activated a holographic projector. Images appeared in the air between them. Marcus saw Kelly's face along with hundreds of other human faces. Each image had a red warning symbol next to it. We have been monitoring an unusual pattern for 3 years, Talth explained. Humans appearing in restricted sectors. Humans working in environments that should require special equipment. Humans learning complex skills in impossibly short time frames. Humans surviving accidents that would kill most other species. Those things don't make us criminals, Kelly said. Her voice was stronger now. The fear was still there, but anger was replacing it. Maybe humans are just tough. Maybe we're good at adapting. That's not a crime. It's not natural, Talth countered. He pointed at the medical scanner's display. Dr. Webb, show her the results. Marcus hesitated. He didn't want to make things worse. But he also knew that hiding the truth wouldn't help. He turned the screen toward Kelly. These are your biological measurements, compared to the galactic database average. Kelly studied the numbers. She didn't have medical training, but even she could see that something was unusual. Every measurement was marked with a yellow or red warning indicator. I don't understand what this means. It means your body is too efficient, Marcus explained. Your bones are 3 times denser than they should be. Your cells repair damage faster than any known species. Your immune system can fight off diseases that would kill others. Your brain processes information at rates that shouldn't be possible for a species as young as humanity. Young? Kelly looked confused. Humans have been around for thousands of years. Talth made a sound that might have been a laugh, but it held no humor. Thousands of years is nothing. Most species in the Galactic Union have histories spanning hundreds of thousands of years. Some even longer. Humanity is an infant species by galactic standards. You shouldn't have developed these capabilities yet. One of the enforcers spoke quietly to Talth in a language Marcus didn't recognize. The commander nodded and then dismissed all his soldiers with a wave. Guard the perimeter. Nobody enters or leaves this facility. This conversation is now classified at the highest level. The soldiers left the room. The door locked behind them. Now it was just Marcus, Kelly, and Commander Talth. The Vrexian warrior's posture changed slightly. He seemed less aggressive, more thoughtful. What I'm about to tell you is known to very few people in the galaxy, Talth said. He deactivated his weapon and set it on a nearby table. Dr. Webb, you have medical clearance. You can verify everything I say in the restricted archives. Ms. Morrison, you deserve to know the truth about your own species. Kelly sat down slowly on the examination table. I'm listening. Talth pulled up a new set of files on the holographic display. These were old, very old. The text was written in an ancient language, but the system automatically translated it. 2,000 years ago, a Galactic Union survey ship discovered Earth. They cataloged your planet and studied your species from orbit. They took samples. They ran tests. They analyzed your biology. And, Kelly prompted when Talth paused, and they made a decision. Humanity would remain isolated, completely isolated, no contact, no interference. No integration into the galactic community. Earth was classified as a restricted zone. Any ship approaching your planet would be turned away. Any attempt by humans to leave your solar system would be prevented. Marcus felt confused. But Kelly is here. There are humans all over the galaxy. How did they get past the quarantine? That's the question we've been trying to answer, Talth said. About 50 years ago, the first humans started appearing in Union space. They came through old transportation gates that everyone thought were abandoned. They had primitive ships that somehow made it through dangerous regions of space. They showed up on remote stations and claimed to be explorers or traders. We thought the gates were broken, Kelly said quietly. We found them floating in space near Earth. Nobody knew what they were. Some brave pilots flew through them to see what was on the other side. That's how we discovered the rest of the galaxy. Talth nodded slowly. Those gates were supposed to be deactivated, locked down, but somehow they still worked. And somehow humans not only survived the journey through them, but thrived. Within 2 decades, there were thousands of humans scattered across Union space. We couldn't track them all. We couldn't send them back without revealing the truth about the quarantine. So you just let us stay? Marcus asked. That doesn't make sense. If humanity was dangerous enough to quarantine, why not remove them as soon as they appeared? Because we were watching them, Talth said. Every human who entered Union space was monitored. We observed how they interacted with other species. We watched how they adapted to new environments. We studied their behavior. And what did you see? Kelly asked. Talth was quiet for a long moment. His scales shifted color slightly, a sign of emotion in Vrexian biology. We saw people. Just people. Humans who wanted to work, to trade, to explore. We saw humans forming friendships with dozens of different alien species. We saw humans solving problems that had stumped others for years. We saw humans who were curious, adaptable, and surprisingly kind. Then why the quarantine? Kelly demanded. Why lock us away if we're not dangerous? Because kindness can be deceptive, Talth said. His voice became darker. And because your biological profile matches something from our oldest records. Something from before the Galactic Union even existed. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. What are you talking about? Talth pulled up an image. It showed a double helix, the basic structure of DNA. Next to it was another double helix. They looked almost identical. This is human DNA structure, Talth said, pointing to the first image. And this is the DNA structure of a species called the progenitors. Kelly stared at the images. I've never heard of the progenitors. Nobody has, Talth said. Because they were wiped out millions of years ago. They were the most dangerous species the galaxy has ever known. They conquered everything they touched. They destroyed entire civilizations. They nearly ended all life in this galaxy. The room fell silent. Marcus looked at Kelly, then at Talth, then back at the DNA images on the display. The two structures weren't exactly the same, but they were remarkably similar. You're saying humans are related to these progenitors? Marcus asked. That we're descended from them? We don't know, Talth admitted. But the similarities are too strong to ignore. And that's why the Galactic Council quarantined Earth. They were afraid that if humanity reached the stars, history might repeat itself. Kelly stood up. Her fear was completely gone now, replaced by anger. So you judged us based on something that happened millions of years ago? You locked away an entire planet because we might be related to some ancient species? That's not justice. That's prejudice. Perhaps, Talth agreed. But it's also survival. The progenitors nearly destroyed everything. The species that fought them lost billions of lives. The galaxy barely recovered. We couldn't risk that happening again. But we're not them, Kelly insisted. We're humans. We're different people with different choices. You can't punish us for crimes we never committed. Talth looked at her for a long time. Finally, he said, That's exactly what the Galactic Council is debating right now. Whether to maintain the quarantine and remove all humans from Union space, or to accept that you might truly be different from your ancestors. Marcus realized the full scope of what was happening. Kelly Morrison's blood test hadn't just broken a database. It had forced the entire galaxy to confront a decision they'd been avoiding for decades. The fate of humanity hung in the balance.